Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here, and I'm back with another video. It's Monday, so you know what that means? It's time for another not-so-weekly Blu-ray pickup video, where I go through everything I've had picked up and delivered in the past couple of weeks. There's some Blu-rays, some 4Ks, a few games, and even a couple of DVDs. More on that later, so there's plenty enough to get into, so without further ado, let's get into it. So yes, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to go through everything I picked up over the past couple of weeks, and overall there's quite a bit to get through. There's quite a few games, so I'll start off with the games, and first up is a couple of Switch games that I picked up from Smythes in Norwich, and they were both on offer. First up is, you're going to laugh at this, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake. These games are really fun. I played the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom a couple of years ago and had a great time with it. And this is essentially more of the same. It came out earlier this year, but I don't think it sold very well because Smythes was selling it for 10 quid. Though that being said, it's gone up now to £30. So I saved myself quite a bit on that. Been playing quite a bit of it and having a good time with it. It's nothing special, but a good, fun little time. This one I've had my eyes on for a little while, mainly because I was and still kind of is a fan of this TV series. So I thought, this is going to be terrible, but I'll give it a go for a tenner. I picked up the Doctor Who duo bundle that includes The Edge of Reality and The Lonely Assassins. Played a bit of both of these. The Edge of Reality is the biggest pile of garbage I've ever played. It is absolutely horrendous. It's supposed to be a first-person puzzle game. The biggest puzzle is trying to find out where the heck you are because the graphics are absolutely abhorrent. The Lonely Assassins isn't too bad actually. It's a phone game, surprisingly, and it's got a really good story and it ties back to the Blink episode that came out in 2007. Too bad for a tenner, and it's nice to have a Doctor Who game in the collection. So that is the Doctor Who Duo bundle, and you also do get some stickers for some reason. I picked up another couple of games that came out, well, one that came out last week, and that is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Fun little strategy game. I did play the originals on the DS. These are actually Game Boy games, and really did enjoy the franchise. The franchise has been dormant for, wow, about 15 years. So it's nice to see it make a comeback. This game was originally supposed to come out last year, but got delayed for over a year due to various issues. But it's finally got released now, and I've been playing it over the weekend and having a great time with it. So I did a little unboxing for this, like a little YouTube short, so check that out. And that is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. And I popped into another Smythes at the weekend, and a game that I've been wanting to get for a little while finally dropped down in price, and I thought I'll pick it up, and that's Bayonetta Origins Cereza and the Lost Demon. Bayonetta 3 came out last year, fantastic game. This is quite a nice little storybook-like spin-off to it. 50 quid normally, wouldn't pay it, but popped into local Smythes and it was £25, so that wasn't too bad, so I decided to pick it up, so it was half price. Haven't played it yet, but I'm looking forward to playing it. It looks like a fun little puzzle platformer. And the final thing related to games is a couple of weeks ago I picked up a really good Witcher Geralt of Rivia figure from B&M for £12.99. And I popped into another B&M yesterday and I finally found the figure that I've been after, and that's Ciri. Yeah, Ciri is like Geralt's daughter. Well, not daughter, but daughter figure in the game, and she's like one of the main characters in the Wild Hunt. Brilliant character, and you do play as her as in the portion of the game. So that's what the figure looks like. Hopefully you can find a way to display both of these ones because they do look great. There's a few other figures that you can get from B&M, but these were the main two that I wanted. So not too bad. Next up, let's get into what you're here for, and that's the films. And overall there's a great little pile here. I'm going to first off start with some DVDs. Yeah, I don't normally buy them much now. I only really pick them up if I find them really cheap or you can't get the Blu-ray over here, and it costs too much to import them. But I went into Asda last week and shockingly they had these two titles. Wow. Cheaper than a Freddo chocolate bar, shall I say. I picked up The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. I've seen the first one, quite enjoyed it, or The Hitman's Wife Bodyguard. There you go. Watched the first one a couple of years ago, watched it on Amazon Prime, had a good time with it, thought it was a lot of fun. Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson had a great chemistry together, and it's that sort of like Deadpool-esque humour that Ryan Reynolds seems to be typecasted in. But it worked, it was fun, and you even had Gary Oldman in it. Wasn't nothing amazing to write home about, but it was a fun hour and a half, and then this sequel came out a couple of years ago. Haven't seen it yet, but you've got a great cast here. You've got Salma Hayek, she was in the original one, but she wasn't in it a lot. Antonio Banderas and Morgan Freeman as well. I've not heard amazing things about this one, but for the price I paid, I'm happy to have it in the collection. You do get a nice slipcover with it, as well as some special features, which is quite unheard of for DVD these days. So that is The Hitman's Bodyguard, and I picked that up for the astronomically low price of 50p. And next up, and also picked up for the really cheap price of 50p, is The Battle of Watergate Bridge. I'm not the biggest war fan, but I don't mind these Cine Asia films, always a good time. I remember a couple of years ago I watched The 800 and thought it was a thoroughly good war film. And no doubt this will probably be more of the same of its ilk. Don't know too much about it. I think there might be a sequel to this film, I'm not entirely certain, but for 50p I don't mind picking it up and giving it a shot. It's about 2.5 hours long, so it's quite a lengthy film. You do get one special feature, the trailer. Unfortunately this isn't nationwide, this like store specific, so if you go into your local Asda it's probably full price. That's one thing about Asda, their sales are all over the place. It depends store by store. Next up is all Blu-rays, and HMV has had a sale on recently online. They brought some more titles into the 50% off sale, and I decided to pick up a few of those titles. I actually picked up about 4. Yes, I picked up 4. One of them was a full price title, and I watched this one last night and had a really good time with it. And that's a film starring George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez, and that is Out of Sight. This one came out in the late 90s, and actually it's a really good little film. It's more of a caper than anything. It sees George Clooney's character getting out of prison and trying to pull off one final heist and then just going as live a normal life. Also stars, is it Ving Rhames from the Mission Impossible films. You've also got Don Cheadle in this as well. My word, the cast here is stacked. There's some really quite big names pop up in like small cameo roles. I think the film's a little bit too long at just over 2 hours, but it's a very entertaining film. And shockingly enough, Jennifer Lopez is brilliant in here. The whole chemistry between her and George Clooney is electric and really does carry this film. It definitely does have that Ocean's vibe to it a bit, and I'm pretty certain it is directed by Steven Soderbergh, who did the Ocean films. I picked this one up. This was like $5.99 from HMV, but I did have a 10% off voucher as well, so it came to about £5.30, £5.40 odd, so it wasn't too bad. You do get a few special features as well, such as like deleted scenes and behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, it's a really good film. I'd definitely recommend picking it up. Pitch quality's solid, nothing amazing, but a good little release nevertheless. So that's Out of Sight. Next up is all these ones that are 50% off. So I think all of these cost about either $3.99 or $2.99 each. So first up is a film starring Paddy Constantine and Jodie Whittaker, the Doctor herself, and that's Journeyman. Paddy Constantine really does have a good list of films to his name. He's a very underrated British director. He's done some great films over the years, and I think this probably might be one of his recent ones. I don't know too much about it, but I think it's to do with a boxer, and obviously being punched in the head too much, he gets health difficulties and it really affects his life, and I think he has to quit boxing and has to be cared for by his wife. I'm going to gather it's going to be a very heartbreaking watch. It's quite a short film at only 90 minutes. I mainly picked it up because it had Jodie Whittaker in, and I'm kind of interested to see what her other sort of acting work is, because I only really know her from Attack the Block and Broadchurch, and I definitely want to check it out. I definitely want to check it out as well because Paddy Constantine is a very good director. So that's Journeyman. Next up is a film that I was actually going to get from H&V in Norwich. I picked it up and I was going to get it, and then I decided against it and put it back, and kind of regretted it when I did because it sounded like a really good film and the leads were great. But I checked online and they had it, and it only cost me about £2.50, and that's Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander and Rachel Weisz in The Light Between Oceans. This one seems to be a very emotional drama. It's about these couple, Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander, living like out in the, like down the seaside or somewhere near like a lighthouse, and one day they stumble upon an abandoned baby, and there's no parents, and they're worried that the parents might die, so they raise the child as their own, and they like bring it up and everything until later on in the child's life all the secrets and what happened to the child's parents come to light. That is quite an emotional film, and this is quite a special film for both Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander, because this is a film where they pretty much got it together with, because they ended up getting married not long afterwards. They fell for each other on set. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I'm a big fan of Alicia Vikander, obviously for acting reasons. That is The Light Between Oceans. And the final one I picked up from the sale that was half price is a film that I was going to get on second sight, but I never saw the film, and I didn't want to risk paying 16, 17 quid for the Blu-ray or a little bit more for the 4K, and I wasn't a fan of it. So I picked up Dan Stevens in The Guest. Watched this one last night and had a brilliant time with it. I absolutely adored it. Felt like a great mix of like the Bourne films, Terminator, Drive, and even a bit of Halloween. It sees Dan Stevens' character entering this family's house. He's supposed to be a friend of their son who tragically passed away in the army. So they invite him in, have him over, but secrets come out, and he just seems like the perfect guest. He seems like a really nice chap, helping out everybody. But there might be secrets there. You don't know. And it really is just an intriguing film. It starts off a little bit slow and it keeps you guessing, and then near the end of the film, my word, it just goes balls to the wall. It is over the top. The soundtrack is immense, and Dan Stevens is superb in this. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing him as James Bond. I know he is like one of the names that have been thrown out there quite a lot, but he does have that sort of style there, and I think he'd be wonderful at it. So that is The Guest. Very, very highly recommend picking that one up. It's such a great time. Next up is a couple of H&V premiums. I did actually pick up one, but when it arrived, it was actually unsealed and damaged. I ordered a copy of New Jack City from H&V online, and it arrived, and when I done the box, it was all unsealed and damaged. So I was worried whether I wouldn't get my money back on it, but I took it to my local H&V and they just said, do you just want to swap it over for something else? Which is what I did. I decided to pick up two premiums and pay the difference. So I decided to pick up Judgment Night and Dark Passage. Picked up Dark Passage because I recently watched Casablanca and I really like Humphrey Bogart in it, and I wanted to see some more. This one seemed to be quite an interesting film. It sees Humphrey Bogart playing an escaped convict, and he has like his face changed with like prosthetics or something, and he goes on the run with Lauren Bacall. So I don't know too much about it. It's from 1947, so looking forward to checking this one out. You do get a digital download and some art cards with this one. No poster, unfortunately. And the other premium, which I watched on Saturday night, was Judgment Night, starring Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr. Judgment Night was a fantastic little thriller. Sees a group of these guys going out for a boxing match. They go in like this big flashed up RV, and because they're stuck in traffic queue, they decide to take a shortcut through a pretty rough neighbourhood, and it doesn't end very well. They witness a murder of a young lad, and the gang who shot this young lad, led by Dennis Leary, hunt them down through this neighbourhood, and it is a really good, thrilling little watch. Dennis Leary here is absolutely relentless. The whole don't move, don't whisper, don't even breathe line in the movie is so chilling. It is great. The film flies by at just over 100 minutes, and it's a cracking little thriller with a great soundtrack from the 90s. Honestly, if you haven't checked out Judgment Night, definitely pick it up. I'd never reckon much to it, but then I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks really good. And I'm so glad I picked it up. You do get a poster here and art cards. So unfortunately, you don't get no special features, but that's pretty much common with these premium titles. But they're still in the 2 for 15, so definitely check out Judgment Night if you haven't already. Next up is a film that I did order from HMV, but they couldn't give me a exact time when it would come because it sold out, and also it was clearance. One person was telling me it is sold out, but it will be back in. Another person said we won't get it in, so I decided to cancel it and pick it up from Amazon. And there was a copy going in Germany, so I decided to pick it up, and it arrived at the weekend, and I watched it at the weekend, and my word, what a great film it is. And that's Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen in Wind River. Really enjoyed this thriller, starring Hawkeye and Wanda. This, I wasn't expecting too much. I heard Keith from Euphoria Pictures, link in the description down below, talk about this a few weeks ago when he got this lovely special edition, and I thought, oh, this film sounds really good. I checked out the trailer and I was like, I want to check it out. But I've had trouble trying to find a cheap Blu-ray copy of it, and most of them are either pre-owned or you can't really get them on eBay. So I decided to check on Amazon, found the copy, £8, and it came with about 3 days. Sees Jeremy Renner as like a sort of tracker as he goes around like hunting wild animals, and he stumbles upon this young woman's murdered body, and they obviously expect foul play, so they get the FBI in. The FBI woman's played by Elizabeth Olsen, and she does a stellar performance as well, and they investigate what goes on, try to find out the culprit who done it, and it all leads to really quite a harrowing sort of flashback sequence on what actually happens to this poor girl. It's a very good film, superbly acted, and a very underrated film, so highly recommend checking out Wind River. Fortunately, you don't get reversible artwork with it, but you do get artwork on the disc. When I did play it, I did have a bit of an issue because it was all playing in German, and I thought, oh no, don't tell me there isn't an English soundtrack. But I just had to change the options, so that's Wind River, and I highly recommend giving it a watch. Next up is some titles from the Arrow sale. The Arrow sale is in full swing, and I picked up 3 titles. I must admit there's a few titles there that I definitely do want to pick up, but I've not been in a big rush to pick them up. But I did pick up 3 titles that I really want to watch. First up is a film starring Anthony Perkins, and it looks like a really cool mix of Jack the Ripper with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that is Edge of Sanity. Don't really know too much about it, but I think it's one of Anthony Perkins' final films before he passed away in the early 90s. Also starring Glynis Barber from Dempsey and Makepeace, so that was another selling point because she's a great actress. This one's a fairly recent Arrow release. You do get the booklet in it, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. You do get a load of special features there as well. Fortunately, no slipcover, but hey, what can you do? It never did came with a slipcover anyway. Normally it's £18, but in the sale it was a tenner, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a watch. And I probably will watch this one in the next couple of weeks. So that's Edge of Sanity. Next up is a film starring Sam Neill, and I've been a big fan of Sam Neill ever since watching him in Possession. I thought he was brilliant in it. I haven't really seen much of him in other films, only like Jurassic Park and him in Peaky Blinders. I thought he was great in that. Well, the first season anyway, because that's the only season I've seen. But I noticed there was one with him as a lead role on Arrow, so I decided to pick it up. So that film is Sleeping Dogs. This film is a New Zealand film, and it's Sam Neill's first ever leading role. See Sam Neill's character splitting up with his wife pretty much as the film starts. She's got a new bloke and he moves away, and he lives on this like little abandoned island in New Zealand, and he seems to be having a pretty okay life. He just got a dog and he seems to be spending his time being more of a recluse. But events take a strange turn as he gets arrested for a political crime, and he gets drawn into it. He's essentially the ultimate fall guy here for a political uprising. It's quite a twisty-turny little thriller with a great soundtrack, may I add. Doesn't outstay its welcome at just over an hour, and yeah, I really did enjoy it. It's not a film that I would re-watch in a hurry, but I thought it was a great showcase for Sam Neill's acting talent, and the whole New Zealand landscape looked wonderful. It's very low budget, but it does wonders with its budget, I may say. You do get your alternative artwork, and surprisingly enough, you do get a booklet as well. So yeah, I did enjoy Sleeping Dogs quite a bit. It's a solid, shall I say, 3 out of 5 film. So for $8.99, I picked up Sleeping Dogs. And the final thing I picked up from the Arrow sale is a 4K box set. This is a film that I've already got, but I've been wanting to get it on 4K for a little while, especially in this 4K box set. It was $24.99, but I had a £15 voucher, so it only cost me the grand total of $9.99, and that's David Cronenberg's Videodrome, starring James Woods and Debbie Harry. Watched this one a couple of years ago and had a thoroughly good time with it. Thought it was a brilliant film that really holds up well today with the whole TV stuff. The practical effects in here are absolutely outstanding. The whole way the TV stretches out, and some of the strange body horror effects to both James Woods' character and other people is incredibly disgusting, yet also strangely fascinating to watch. Looking forward to rewatching this, as you do get the theatrical cut and the director's cut. I think the Blu-ray's only got one, not the other. And you do get a load of special features here, and I don't think you do get them all on the Blu-ray. This one has always been Arrow Limited Edition, includes your rigid style box. You get poster, art cards, and a booklet as well. So I may do a separate unboxing and little review for this later on down the road. So for $9.99, I picked up David Cronenberg's Videodrome. Long live the new flesh. And the final 2 pickups are from the 2 for $30 H&V 4K sales. One of them is a title that I've been wanting to pick up for a little while now after watching one of the director's previous work, and the other one is a film that I've been intrigued about watching for a little while. And the first one is Angel Heart, starring Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. Don't really know too much about this one, but I was just intrigued by that front cover, and especially Robert De Niro's in it. But I've heard that Robert De Niro's not in the film a lot. From what I gather, it seems to be sort of an erotic thriller, murder mystery with supernatural elements in. It's from the 80s. I've never actually heard of it before, but when I saw Studio Canal and Robert De Niro in it, I thought, I definitely want to give this one a shot. I know in H&V they've got the Blu-ray. The standard Blu-ray is like 18 or 19 quid. So I thought, wait until the sale and pick up the 4K. You get 2 discs and a load of special features as well. Can't actually believe that's Mickey Rooney, because he does not look like that in The Wrestler or Iron Man 2. But yeah, if you've seen Angel Heart, tell me in the comment section down below what you think of the film and is it worth a watch. And the final film I picked up is the much requested for me to view, and that's Pulp Fiction. Been wanting to get this one with that noir slipcover. I didn't want to order it from Amazon in case I didn't pick it up. There was also a steelbook, but honestly, the steelbook artwork does nothing for me. I wasn't a huge fan of the Reservoir Dogs artwork on the steelbook, but in the flesh it looks much more better. But this one, when I saw the slipcover, I had to have it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The whole black and white with the red looks stunning. I cannot wait to check this one out. This is a lot of people's favourite Tarantino film. A lot of people say it's his best work. It's quite a lengthy film. I was quite surprised that it's like 2.5 hours. There's a huge cast of actors here, from John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Tim Roth, Bruce Willis, and Uma Thurman. There's a huge stacked cast here. Don't know too much about the film at all. I've seen a couple of iconic sequences, such as the dance sequence and John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson together in that is it like a flat on about a cheeseburger, I think. That's all I've seen. I honestly didn't even know Bruce Willis was in it. So I'm very excited to check it out. I've heard the 4K transfer, very much like Reservoir Dogs, is top tier, so that's great to hear. Do get 2 discs with a load of special features. Looking forward to checking out Pulp Fiction really soon, and hey, maybe even do a review for the channel. So here it is, Pulp Fiction. So that's everything I've had picked up and delivered over the past couple of weeks. Quite a decent haul, a nice mix of Blu-rays, 4Ks, with even a couple of DVDs thrown in. Just tell me all in the comment section down below what you picked up recently. Tell me what films are the films I've picked up in the past couple of weeks that you'd recommend watching. And if you've got any more H&V premium recommendations or Arrow recommendations for the sale for me to check out, definitely leave more in the comment section down below. and I'll get back to you, I promise. It's great to have a chat about films in the comments section. So thanks ever so much for taking the time and watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. You stay safe, take care, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye!